What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nikki. If you're new, this is Life with Nick, and I do videos on business, lifestyle, and fashion. So today I'm doing something new on my video. I'm going to talk about the things that you can do and that you are qualified to do with a bachelor's in psychology. I feel like it's something that people do not talk about a lot, and it is a question that I am asked all the time. So I'm here to give you guys some tips. I actually have a list here of different jobs that you are qualified to do with the bachelor's in psychology. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. But before we get into the video, if you have not already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and let's begin. Okay, just to give you guys a little backstory here, my name is Nikki again, and I have a bachelor's in psychology. I feel like people are always asking me, even the people that are close to me are asking like, hey, what do you do with a bachelor's degree in psychology? And I feel like it's also another thing that is kind of discredited. I feel like a lot of people just instantly think like, hey, if you have a bachelor's degree in psychology, you pretty much can't do anything, or, you know, the jobs don't really pay much. There's just so many different stereotypes that I feel like are against having a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I'm just here to just talk a little bit about that. There's definitely jobs out there, you know, you definitely just have to handle it the right way, look in the right places, know the right people, and just handle your business, because the jobs are definitely out there. So I'm going to start off with the top job, which is something that I do. I am a case manager. So with a bachelor's degree in psychology, you can become a case manager, which is a good field. Personally, I have worked a few different jobs within the psychology field, and being a case manager has been my favorite so far. And what that job consists of is basically me documenting paperwork and calling my members. I currently have 92 different members, and when people hear that, they're like, oh my gosh, how do you do it? But it's definitely something that's manageable, especially if you manage your time well and, you know, you stay as organized as possible. And basically what I do is I make sure that each of my members have the services that they need. So some members need aides that work in their homes. Some members need food that is delivered because they're not able to physically cook. So I basically make sure that their services are going well for them, to make sure that they're being satisfied. I'll give them a monthly call, and then I'll document our call or any issues that they might have. Definitely easy. I work from home. I literally work from anywhere. I work from my laptop. And whenever I'm done working with my cases for the day, I can just leave, you know, I can just stop working on my laptop. It's not like they give you a certain amount of hours, like, hey, you have to work these hours a day. They give you a certain amount of cases that you have to work. And as long as you're done with those cases within that day, I'm done. And that's just for my job, the certain job that I do. Other case manager jobs out there, they will have you at a 9-to-5 rate or a different hourly rate, but for me, it is a little bit different. But that's usually what a case manager job consists of, just basically documenting paperwork. And it may be different. You may be a case manager for children. I myself am a case manager for elderly people. So that is what I do. The pay, I would say I've made the most money being a case manager out of all the jobs that I worked in the psychology field. But, you know, it honestly just depends on where you're looking or where you work, because some jobs, they'll try to rip you off and give you like $13 an hour. Like, no, do not go for that. Just look in the right places, especially if you are someone who lives in Georgia. They're definitely out here. So yeah, look into that. Next, we're going to talk about registered behavioral technician. Look, this is something I had no idea about when I was in college. I was like, what is a registered behavioral technician? I was like, what is that? But when I moved to Atlanta, it became super clear to me. A registered behavioral technician is basically someone who is qualified to work with autistic kids. So it's basically like you're an autistic teacher. So basically what they do is the company, they'll give the kids a program, and you basically have to go over their daily programs and their daily targets. So you just basically have to make sure that they're hitting their goals, that they're improving or making some kind of progress. Personally, this is the job that I've worked at for the longest. I recently actually just stepped down from being a registered behavioral technician, just because I feel like it's not for me. I feel like it takes a different kind of person to be there. And I feel like if you're not there for the kids, then maybe you need to look in a different field, which is what I did. But I feel like you have to have a lot of patience, because autistic kids, you know, they're like any other kid. The kids are just, you know, a lot sometimes, but definitely have to have the patience for it. But I would say it's definitely the easiest job to find. If you go on Indeed right now, I promise you, if you type in registered behavioral technician, you are going to find hundreds of jobs. I can literally probably call somebody tomorrow and start on Monday working as a registered behavioral technician, just because there's so many opportunities out there, and there's so many kids who unfortunately have autism. So there's so many people that need help. So there's always, if you're a registered behavioral technician, you will always have a job. Trust and believe that you're going to always have work. Just depends on what company you want to work for. Another thing with the registered behavioral technician, which I should have mentioned before, is the fact that you actually have to take a test and you actually have to get certified to become it. So not only do you need to have a degree, but you also need to become certified in order to become a registered behavioral technician. And some people, honestly, they'll get lucky and they won't even need a degree. Some companies don't require for you to have a bachelor's degree in psychology. You may have it, you may not have a degree, or you may be on your way to receiving your degree. So you might be in the process, or you might have a degree in something else, like maybe social work. So keep that in mind. You will have to take a test. Personally, if I pass it, anybody can pass it, just because I'm not a good test taker. But check out being a registered behavioral technician, just because there's so many jobs out there. And if you're someone who loves kids and have a passion for it, go ahead and check that out. So we talked about case manager, registered behavioral technician. Now we're going to talk about probation officer. So I personally know a handful of probation officers from back home, but that is also another job that is always seeking people, just because, you know, jails are always going to be around and detention homes are always going to be around. So becoming a probation officer, I feel like this one probably pays a little up there. The probation officers that I know actually make decent money, but this is also another job that you have to have patience for, because you're working with people within the legal field. So you want to make sure that this is something that you're taking serious, because you're actually dealing with people's lives. But check out being a probation officer. I personally have never done it, but I've heard good things about it. It seems like the people that work as probation officers stay at their jobs for a long time, which is good. The turnover rates aren't as high as it would be as a registered behavioral technician or as a case manager, but definitely those jobs are out there. I personally haven't came across one here, but obviously I haven't, because I haven't been looking. But I feel like those are also that's also a good field, just because they're always seeking new employers. But next we're going to talk about a daycare teacher. This one, I feel like it's a hit or miss, just because daycare teachers, like, they will pay you the bare minimum. I have literally been on Indeed, and at some point I was thinking about becoming a preschool teacher, a daycare teacher, and they were like $12 an hour or something like that. And I'm like, for me to work with kids and for people to work with kids, I feel like they need to be at like top dollar, okay? But definitely have those jobs out there. If you're someone who loves children, you know, and you have a passion to work with children again, daycare teachers, you know, if you have a bachelor's degree in psychology, they may actually pay you a little bit more, just because being a daycare teacher is, again, one of those things that don't require for you to have a degree. So they definitely look at it though, you know, wow, she has some history, some background in psychology, working with kids. So it will look good. And it's also a job that is easy to find. So just like a registered behavioral technician, daycares are always open and people are always looking for people to watch their kids and to work in daycare. So working as a daycare teacher, you also will not be out of work, and you won't expect to, you know, ever go broke, because you're always going to have a job with a daycare teacher or a registered behavioral technician. So now we're going to talk about teaching kids English online. This is probably the most easiest interview process ever. So this is something that you literally do all online. So look up right now, or whenever you're done watching this video, go ahead and look up teach kids English online, and you will literally find a list of different companies. One being specific is VIP Kids. So VIP Kids is a company that is based in China or something like that, but somewhere. I'll leave it in the description box. I don't want to misinform you guys, but basically you will teach kids who don't know English over your computer English. So the basics, literally the basics, like the and the, or 1 2 3, or ABC. So it's literally the basic thing. Most of them do require for you to have a bachelor's degree, but it doesn't even have to be in psychology. It will literally say some kind of bachelor's degree in any field. You just need some kind of a bachelor's degree. But I would say this is probably the most convenient one, just because you just work at your computer, you pick your own hours. So you know, you'll just say, hey, I want to work 3 hours today, and go in there and pick your hours. Some of them, they do pay decent. Some of them, honestly, just depends on what your mock is like. And a mock is basically like it's basically like a training period. So basically they'll have you record yourself doing a lesson, and depending on how good your lesson is how they pay you. So if you do good on your mock, then you'll be top dollar. If you do bad, then you're gonna be lower dollar. You know what I mean? You'll be looking at like $7 an hour. But if you do top dollar, you may be able to get about $25 an hour. It just depends on what company you're looking for. But I would say teaching a kid English online is probably the most convenient thing. Just because some people are parents, you know what I mean? Some people are taking COVID like super serious, and they don't want to have to go out and work in a physical setting. So they'll just hop in the back of their computer, behind their computer, and teach kids English, which is so easy if you know English. If you're fluent in English, it's like just, I'm going to sit up here and tell y'all ABCs, you know, like, and I get paid for that. It's so easy. But yeah, check that out. Check out Teaching Kids English online. You can find it on Indeed, or literally just go on Google. So last but not least, we are going to talk about a research assistant. Something that I personally had interest in at some point, but I was like, you know, not really for me doing research. But the thing about doing research and becoming a research assistant is it's so many open doors, and there's so many paths that it leads you to. But being a research assistant basically just consists of research. So basically, you know, if you're someone who's familiar with psychology, you know that there's like clinical psychology. So clinical psychologists, what they'll do is they'll look and they'll try to do research on all kinds of subjects. So it may be, you know, why is this kid acting out, or why the research for autistic kids, why are they acting this way? So just, you can literally do research on anything. So you're a research assistant, you basically help that researcher, and you'll try to do your own research and collect your own data and their own graphs to try to get research for that certain topic. So being a research assistant, from what I heard, was a decent paying job, probably up there like with being a registered behavioral technician, which personally is not bad. When I was a registered behavioral technician, I'm just going to put out there, I made $18 an hour, which is not bad. I feel like it's something that's good if you're just now starting off. But I feel like once you kind of get older, like I'm 25, I need big money, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, just the further you go, the more you make. And there's always, for each job that I listed, there's always countless of opportunity for each and every one of them. You just have to play the role right. I feel like when I first graduated, I was so scared, especially because I had so many people telling me, you know, you only have a bachelor's degree in psychology. You need to go get your master's, which I am doing in September, by the way. I'll tell you guys about that in another video. But everybody kept telling me, you know, you need to go get your master's. Everybody is not meant for school. Everybody does not need a master's degree. Most people don't even care to have that. So if you're someone who's like that, check out those jobs, because those jobs are out there. Do not let nobody tell you that your degree is worthless. No degree is worthless, first of all, because if I'm sitting in that class for 4 years at a time and learning this information, and I get my degree, baby, it is well worth it. I don't care what it's in. It can literally be in anything. So never let anybody discredit you. Don't go around arguing with people about it, because some people aren't worth it. But don't let people discredit you from having a bachelor's degree in psychology, because like I said, you see it on the paper here. There's definitely countless of opportunity. You just have to look in the right places. So hopefully I help someone out there, one of my fellow bachelor psychology people. Comment below, you know, if you guys can relate. You guys can always inbox me on Instagram at Nick Reeves and ask me questions regarding that. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.